In a world obsessed with appearances, we often believe that we can intuitively identify who is safe and who is not. We tend to think that danger comes with red flags, raised voices, overt cruelty, or obvious manipulation. But what if the most emotionally destructive people are those who don't look dangerous at all? What if the real threat is silent, masked by charm, kindness, or even love? According to Carl Jung, the true danger lies not in the conscious mind, but in the unconscious shadow, the parts of ourselves and others that remain hidden, repressed, or denied. You protect yourself from overt toxicity. You avoid drama, set boundaries, and stay vigilant. Yet somehow you still find yourself drained, confused, or slowly disappearing into someone else's emotional vortex. Why? Because not all wounds come from knives. Some come from projections, silent expectations, and unconscious manipulation. Jung devoted his life to understanding this hidden battlefield, and through his work we uncover 8 psychologically dangerous personality types who, often unknowingly, damage those around them. This is not about blaming, it is about awareness, and it starts by understanding that these patterns live not only in others, they may also live in you. 1. The emotional invader. This type is not usually discussed explicitly in Jung's work, but it emerges naturally from his theories of boundary dissolution and psychic invasion. The emotional invader has no clear distinction between where they end and where you begin. They ask seemingly innocent questions, demand constant closeness, or overshare in ways that entangle your emotions with theirs. You become a character in their internal drama, whether you signed up for the role or not. You might think you're being empathetic, generous, or supportive, but what you are really doing is being absorbed. The emotional invader has not learned to regulate their own emotional field, so they unconsciously use others to stabilize themselves. They may not be manipulative in intent, but their presence slowly consumes yours. The solution? Firm, clear emotional boundaries and frequent self-checks. Is this mine or theirs? 2. The unconscious manipulator. This is someone who lives entirely in projection. They don't intentionally wish to harm, but their unresolved wounds have found a host. You. When they feel angry, they say it's because you were insensitive. When they feel abandoned, they blame your independence. You become responsible for their inner chaos. Jung explained projection as the process by which unconscious content is attributed to another person. It's an unavoidable psychic function, but when left unchecked, it becomes psychological violence. You might believe you're helping, being mature or loving, but over time your energy is siphoned into conflicts that don't belong to you. And because this type often appears fragile or soulful, the manipulation is wrapped in softness, which makes it even harder to detect. 3. The bearer of the persona. The persona is the mask we wear to function in society. We all have one, and it serves a purpose. But problems arise when someone becomes the mask. They believe they are their title, their role, their public image. The true self, messy, emotional, flawed, gets buried beneath polished perfection. The bearer of the persona is often charming, professional, and socially flawless. But interactions with them feel sterile. You sense the emotional distance, the lack of depth, the silent performance. And if you dare to break the illusion by showing raw emotion or vulnerability, they recoil. Not because you did something wrong, but because your authenticity threatens their control. Living with this type can make you question your own spontaneity. You begin to match their performance, wear your own mask, and gradually lose access to your real self. 4. The owner of the repressed shadow. Jung described the shadow as everything a person refuses to acknowledge about themselves. The shadow is not evil. It is human. It is rage, jealousy, lust, pride, and ambition. When accepted, the shadow becomes integrated, a source of power. When repressed, it becomes poison. This person is usually polite, moral, and controlled, but beneath the composure is a storm. They suppress their negative emotions, and because these feelings must go somewhere, they erupt in passive-aggressive behavior, sudden rage, or cold withdrawal. You might find yourself punished for things you don't understand. What's worse, they may not even know they are doing it. They are genuinely baffled by their own outbursts, because their shadow is unconscious. This type is a walking contradiction. They preach love, yet act with bitterness. They seek peace, yet sow conflict. 5. The moral controller. This type weaponizes ethics, ideals, and righteousness to dominate others. They often hold religious, political, or spiritual beliefs, not as personal paths of growth, but as tools of superiority. The moral controller does not argue. They decree. If you disagree, you are wrong, lost, or evil. Their criticism is veiled in concern. I'm only telling you this because I care. But their real motive is control. Jung warned that those who most loudly preach virtue often do so to silence their own shadow. The more they repress, the more they project. You become the sinner, they become the savior. Being around this person makes you feel judged, diminished, and ultimately guilty for being yourself. You may find yourself hiding your joy, your desires, even your truth, not because it is wrong, but because it threatens their illusion. 6. The complexed. Complexes are emotionally charged clusters of memories and reactions that live in the unconscious. We all have them, but some people are completely ruled by them. The complexed person might be joyful one moment and irrationally angry the next. They interpret neutral comments as attacks and innocent mistakes as betrayals. You never know what will set them off. Their emotional reactions have little to do with the present. They are ghosts from the past, dressed in today's clothes. But they don't realize it. They think they are justified. Loving someone like this can be addictive. There are moments of deep connection, vulnerability, even beauty, but those are interrupted by chaos, suspicion, and blame. You begin to lose your sense of reality. Was it really your fault? Did you actually say that? Living with the complexed is a slow erosion of truth. 7. The psychic vampire. Not all vampires bite. Some drain your life slowly through neediness, dependency, and emotional ambiguity. The psychic vampire doesn't want your advice. They want your presence, your energy, your soul. You begin by being kind, then supportive, then available. Eventually you realize you are exhausted. You are being fed upon. They do not explode, they do not manipulate outright, but their victimhood, helplessness, or constant drama creates a gravitational pull. You begin to center their needs, their moods, their validation, and in doing so, you vanish. According to Jung, psychic symbiosis is the death of individuation. The vampire does not want to evolve, they want to be carried. They want you to bleed for their survival. 8. The inverted mirror. This final type is perhaps the most tragic and the most common. They are not dangerous because they wish to be. They are dangerous because they do not know who they are. The inverted mirror reflects back not what you are, but what they need to see. If they crave love, they idealize you. If they fear abandonment, they accuse you. If they despise themselves, they reject you. They are not seeing you at all. They are seeing through you. You become a tool in their unconscious battle. Jung said, "We meet ourselves time and again in 1,000 disguises on the path of life. The inverted mirror is one of those disguises. And when you fall in love with someone like this, you fall into a projection. Over time you will feel invisible, not because they hate you, but because they never truly saw you." This list is not for judgment, it is for awakening. These types are not monsters. They are humans, deeply wounded and often unaware. But the fact that they don't intend harm does not make their impact any less real. The only way out is in. As Jung taught, what we do not make conscious will rule our lives, and we will call it fate. We all carry some of these traits. We have all projected, drained, performed, or repressed. The work is to recognize it, name it, and stop feeding it. Not to become perfect, but to become real. To break free from symbolic roles, to stop being the mirror of someone else's unconscious, and most of all, to return to your center. These traits we have all projected, drained, performed, or repressed. You are not here to fix others. You are not here to be a reflection. You are not here to be consumed. You are here to become whole. So ask yourself gently, where have I been drained? Where have I lost myself? Where am I still pretending? And then choose the path Jung pointed to again and again. The path inward, the path of truth, the path of integration. This is where the real healing begins.